Okay, so thanks to this post, we already know how to rank on ChatGPT. Rand covers this post, which is a big article, but essentially what it says is LLMs often predict the next word based on the preceding text. It's a predictive model. It doesn't actually think for itself. So by aligning your brand's descriptions with common phrases your customers use to search you, it increases the likelihood to appear on ChatGPT. Super simple. And the more aligned you are to this, the higher the probability the model will predict your brand as a fitting continuation in the related text. Okay, so what does this mean in practice? First of all, let's go through Masterclass and also what's happening at Masterclass. This is how Masterclass is currently describing itself on its social media, its website, PR, and other places. So Masterclass is an American online educational subscription platform. Masterclass streaming platform where anyone can learn. Masterclass is the streaming platform that makes it possible. Learn from the best, become your best. Masterclass is an online education subscription platform. We can see the people who are trying to do SEO at Masterclass are trying to rank for this online classes term. And then over on X, Masterclass is where anyone can learn from the world's best. And then on YouTube, Masterclass is this streaming platform where anyone can learn. So it's describing itself in different ways every single time. So what does this mean for the brand when it comes to search in AI? So if I, a human, using human language, type into ChatGPT, the best place for online courses, what comes up is Coursera, edX, LinkedIn Learning, Udemy, Free Code Camp, Pluralsight, all these different ones. And down the bottom here, we've got Masterclass. It's not doing too well. But if I change the language to something that I would never search, the best place to learn from the best, Masterclass is number one. And the reason why it's number one is the most common way it describes itself is learn from the best. So in this case, the branding team is winning, which is good for them. But the downside is on ChatGPT or AI search, where a lot of consumers are trying to ask really legitimate questions. It's a big loss. Now, another really simple example is myself. I first of all try to search for top ethical growth marketers because it's a term that I often use, and we have some people down here. And then I jumped on my website and I was like, how do I describe myself currently? And it's cozy and ethical marketing. So I was like, okay, if I search for who are the top cozy and ethical marketing people, I come out number one, ahead of these people who are way cooler than myself. So now we know why we want to rank for these terms. How do we figure out what terms we actually want to rank for in the first place? So I've built a cool little workflow that does this on autopilot for you. But before we dive into how to build the workflow, let's dive into what the output actually looks like. So for the output for Masterclass, what we can see is we can see the overall opportunity score. We can see why we're here in the first place. I then get it to go through and describe every single way it's currently mentioned and how it's talking about itself. And as you can see, it often emphasizes learn from the best. In PR and newsroom, it talks about premium e-learning or the Netflix of online courses. From a brand point of view, we've got this messaging and then the CTAs of these two. So we've got premium expert-led platforms, the Netflix of online courses. We've got real descriptions over here. Then a number of times these are being mentioned, broken down by percentage, and example quotes so you can see exactly how it's showing up in the online world. And in the next section, we talk about the current rankings and existing content opportunities. So these are high-level non-branded phrases where Masterclass content could rank, but currently does not. And obviously, number one, we've got online courses. Going back here, we see that Masterclass is trying to rank for online classes. And then the second one is online classes for adults, the best online classes, online training courses. And we can see this current monthly search volume, the competition, how much it's leveraging and trying to rank in this at the moment, and then how they can go about doing it. Then we talk about the current gap in opportunity analysis. So it actually goes through and says, hey, here are what people are searching for, the current gains, how to approach this, and then also how people are potentially searching for these keywords in LLMs. So we can get a better idea of like how we can position ourselves to actually rank for these things. And then finally, it's given us a concise, prioritized roadmap. Short-term, low-hanging fruit, mid-term, and longer-term as well. So you can actually generate this in 5 minutes for your brand today. So what I'll do is I'll also share this link here where you can go through and you can enter your website URL, your brand name, and the main keyword you think is the most effective to rank for or has the highest brand potential, and it will generate a full report like I just mentioned. I also did one for myself, which was really interesting how often I mentioned different terms, the current rankings and again existing opportunities, how many searches each one of these things get, and compares them to high value keywords where I'm not currently ranking for at the moment. So going a step further, how do we actually build this inside of Aerops, which is the tool that I use to actually create these outputs here. So the step-by-step workflow is we start with those inputs I just mentioned. We then go through and search a knowledge base. The knowledge base is referencing this article here. We then do a Perplexity deep research step where it's based on the information on the inputs. Your task is to identify the most frequently used keywords, phrases, list them out, and then also please list out the brand assets in the way we're currently describing ourselves, and if that includes the main keyword. We then scrape the website. We do a few data for SEO steps here. So we kind of get the main keyword ideas from the domain. We then do web research for the keyword that you entered and see kind of who's ranking for it at the moment. And then a big prompt down the bottom. So your task will help me turn Rand Fishkin's latest LinkedIn post where he references this into an HTML report. And then we've got the context input here. And then the expected output down the bottom. And another way of doing this, where the output's a lot more simple, but you can still get a really good sense check on how you're currently appearing online, is head over to ChatGPT. We've got a very simple prompt like how does your brand most commonly describe itself? The literal words following the brand name, for example, Masterclass X for Y. Please analyze its website, social media accounts, PR, and anywhere else it makes a reference to itself. And then it produces a report. So again, Masterclass descriptors, the formal tagline versus informal nicknames. So learn from the best, be your best. The streaming platform where anyone can learn from the world's best. And then I asked for earlier phrasing just because I was curious. And then the informal descriptors as well. So what's really interesting is this is literally how it's currently ranking for in ChatGPT, which again is really good from a brand perspective, but really bad in terms of how users will actually be searching for the solution that Masterclass wants to appear for. And that's it. With this step-by-step process, we now not only know how we rank in ChatGPT, we also know what we should be ranking for instead. And then also, thanks to this output, the exact ways that we can change our current search terms and our current taglines to actually rank for those keywords in LLMs. And the cool thing is we are so early, we can literally outrank the largest companies in the world overnight. So if you're an agency, you could be doing this for every single one of your clients. And if you're a company, you can really outshine other companies who are being a little bit more slow to adopt this whole process.